My brothers and sisters, and my dear confreres, I extend a very hearty welcome to each one of you on this 21st Sunday of the liturgical calendar. In the light of the readings that we have from the prophet Isaiah, from the letter to the Romans, and the Gospel of Matthew, I would like to title the topic for today as Be What You Are and Be at Its Best. Mirabai, one of the well-known Hindu mystic poet of the 16th century, was one day in her ecstatic mood. She began to sing aloud and dance and moved towards the temple nearby. As she reached the gate of the temple, the priest who was there in the temple stopped her from entering the temple. And she asked, "Why is it that I can't enter the temple?" And he told, "Because you are a woman." With sadness on her face, but with compassion, Mirabai asked the priest, "How many years are you serving God here in this temple?" And the priest, with a sense of pride, exclaimed, "Since 50 years I'm here." And Mirabai told him, "So sad. Since 50 years you are serving God in this temple and you have never recognized the woman inside of you. Since 50 years you are serving God in this temple and you have never recognized the woman inside of you. Every being is a woman, and God is the Purusha, the man inside of that being." This is an ecstatic revelation, an enlightenment in the life of that priest. He began to realize how he needed to become a mother to the humanity around him. My brothers and sisters, today we are finding ourselves in such a situation. We are presented with one of the most interesting passages in the Gospel of Matthew, the encounter of Jesus with his disciples, where Jesus asks his disciples the question, "Who do people say that I am?" And he asks further, "Who do you say that I am?" Many psychologists would say Jesus was having an identity crisis. But St. Paul in today's second reading, quoting Isaiah the prophet, chapter 40, verse 13, would say, "Who are you to know the mind of God?" And again, quoting Job, chapter 41, verse 11, he would ask the question, "Who are you to give a gift to God?" The mind of God is unfathomable. Jesus is taking an interrogative methodology in order to provoke the answers from the mind of his disciples. Who do you say that I am? Who do the people say that I am? A public awareness and a personal experience are very much necessary to find the Messiah in me. Immediately, the disciples began to say, "People say that you are John the Baptist, or Elijah, or some others say that you are Jeremiah, or some others say that you are one of the prophets." All these were already an expected thing in the lifestyle of the Jewish people, because they believed before the Messiah comes, these prophets would once again revisit history and prepare them to receive the Messiah in the right way. Therefore, people had an intellectual awareness about the person of Christ. He may be one of those forerunners to the Messiah himself, but they never recognized the person of Christ. Thereby, Jesus wants his disciples to tell him, who do they think that he is? As always, Peter, whom others perhaps consider as the emotional one, comes forward and makes a declaration that perhaps even startled Jesus himself. Peter says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Christ is the illumined one, the one who has come from God, and you are the Son of the living God. A statement that has stamped the whole question and the whole doubts in the mind of the disciples. We adore and worship you because you are God himself. No one ever, at least during the time of Jesus, dared to say this statement, that you are the Son of God. Jesus, in all his joy, tells Peter, Peter, blood and flesh have not revealed this to you. Human relationships have not revealed this to you. But instead, it is my Father who is in heaven who has revealed this to you. This is the moment of enlightenment. Jesus differentiates the Simon with Peter. The weakness of this human being is now revealed with a new enlightenment, which takes him to an elevated situation of his life. He is able now onwards to bind and to loosen. He is able to interpret the law and tell the people of the goodness and the sad state of their life. He is able to be a rock, the foundation to build the new church. Christianity has found a new meaning in the statement of Peter. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Personal experience is different from public opinions. Most of the time, we move by the opinions of the crowd. Crowd is not a being, it is an attitude. And most of the time, crowds do not give us the right answer. They give emotional reactions to situations. But when you sit down, when you evaluate, when you experience, God comes into your life. One of the famous Carmelite priests, Aurelius, used to say like this: Entrate toti, enter fully, manate soli, remain alone, exite nubi, come out renewed. This is the way of enlightenment. Until and unless you enter into the cave of your being, you will never be able to recognize the person of Christ and tell him, my God, you are the Christ, the illumined one, the Son of the living God. What makes Simon Peter today is this awareness of his own willingness to bend before the Lord, to enter fully, to remain alone, and to come out new, in spite of the fact what others might speak about him. This is the way we are called to recognize the person of Christ. And this needs to happen in the contextual situation of our own lives. St. Francis de Sales, the patron saint of the missionaries of St. Francis de Sales, very clearly mentions in one of the greatest classics, Introduction to the Devout Life. He says, holiness is meant for everyone. Whether you are a cobbler, whether you are a soldier, whether you are a businessman or a priest, holiness is the vocation of everyone. In this holy vocation, you are to be aware as to who your Christ is, the Son of God, the Messiah. What about us in our families? As Christians today, if someone asks you and me the fundamental question, who Jesus for you is, do you have an answer for that? Certain times, we believe that by serving others, we become aware of the presence of God. No doubt about it. But do you serve yourself first? I have seen people going out and doing social work. When I ask someone, where are you going? They say, I'm going to the old age home, forgetting that there is a home for him in which old people are living, his own parents. Sometimes in the Bombay city, as one of the friends told me, from the rich bungalows, mothers who are very rich go into the slums nearby to take care of the children in the slums. But where are the mothers in the slums? They are here in the bungalows to take care of the children of these women. Are you at the right place? Are you sufficiently enlightened to know that in the living context of your own personal life, you need to define the person of your God? You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. The liturgy of the day invites each one of us, my brothers and sisters, to remain faithful to God by becoming aware of His presence in our life and thus defining Him as the Son of God. Be what you are and be at its best. Amen.